There are topics that men, especially after 60, prefer to keep silent about. They are not brought up in conversations at the dinner table, not discussed with friends in the yard, and even in the doctor's office. The words about them seem to get stuck in the throat. But this is the conversation that can change not only the quality of your life, but also its length. This is not about politics or finances. We will talk about the health of the prostate, a small gland that many only remember when it has already made itself known with problems and pain. I, Dr. Viktor Sokolov, a urologist with over 30 years of experience, have seen thousands of cases that began in the same way. A man comes to an appointment with complaints, having endured them for years and almost always with the same phrase, "Doctor, this is probably normal for my age." And every time I answer, "No, it is not normal." The reason I want to tell you all this today is simple. There are habits, absolutely natural, available to everyone and not requiring expensive drugs or complex procedures that can protect the prostate, reduce the risk of diseases, and even reverse some symptoms. This is not guesswork or speculation. This is science, confirmed by serious research. Many men lose years of life and health simply because they did not learn elementary things in time. But knowledge is power. If you are already over 60 or you care about your father, grandfather, older brother, or friend, then this conversation is not just useful, it can be decisive. Ahead, we will discuss in detail 5 simple but incredibly effective habits. You will learn how in just a few weeks you can improve the functioning of the urinary system, reduce inflammation, and regain the lightness that you may have already forgotten about. And yes, one of these habits is so unexpected that I am sure it will surprise you. But before we move on to practice, let's figure out why the prostate deserves special attention specifically after 60. Because, as in any battle, victory depends on how well you know your enemy. The prostate is a modest-sized organ, but colossal in importance. Only the size of a walnut, it hides under the bladder and wraps around the urethra like a ring, the channel through which urine is expelled from the body. Its main function, at first glance, is simple. The prostate produces part of the seminal fluid, the very nutrient medium that helps sperm reach their goal. But with age, this small gland can become a source of great trouble. After 50, the prostate in many men begins to enlarge, sometimes slowly and almost imperceptibly, and sometimes rapidly. This process is called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. And although the word benign is reassuring, the consequences can be far from harmless. According to the U.S. National Institutes of Health, more than half of men aged 51 to 60 already have signs of an enlarged prostate. After 70, this figure exceeds 80%. This means that every second man over 50 faces this problem. And by old age, almost everyone does. But the real trouble is not in the enlargement itself, but in what it does to everyday life. When the prostate gets bigger, it starts to press on the urethra, narrowing the passage for urine. And then the first warning signs appear. The stream of urine becomes weak. There is a feeling that the bladder is never completely empty. Difficulties with starting urination appear. Night trips to the toilet become more frequent. Most men perceive this as an inevitable attribute of aging. What can you do? The years take their toll, they think. But science has already proven that this is not a sentence. There are natural ways to slow down, and sometimes even reverse this process. And for this, you do not always need pills or surgery. It is enough to take proper care of your prostate every day. That is why we are talking about prevention, because unlike many other organs, the prostate responds very well to lifestyle changes. The 5 habits we will talk about next will help improve blood supply to this area, reduce inflammation, normalize hormonal balance, and give you the opportunity to forget about unpleasant symptoms. And we will start with a habit that everyone has heard of, but which few use correctly. And it holds much more power than most men think. It seems that drinking water is the simplest and most natural thing in the world. We all do it since childhood. But did you know that how and when you drink water can have a huge impact on the health of your prostate? With age, many men lose the habit of monitoring their water balance. The body stops sending thirst signals in time, and hours can pass without a single sip. Meanwhile, the urine becomes concentrated, saturated with acids and toxins that irritate the bladder and provoke inflammation of the prostate. Inflammation is that hidden threat that most men do not notice until the symptoms become too obvious and unpleasant. Concentrated urine creates an environment in the bladder and around the prostate that promotes tissue irritation, muscle weakness, and increased urges to urinate, especially at night. And this is where what I call strategic hydration comes into play. It's not just drink more water. It is about the correct distribution of fluid throughout the day. In the morning and afternoon, drink in small sips, but regularly, to maintain a constant level of hydration in the body. Thanks to this, the kidneys effectively remove toxins, the bladder is not overloaded, and the prostate does not suffer from excessive pressure. But in the evening, gradually reduce your fluid intake. This helps to avoid night trips to the toilet, the very ones that so often disrupt your sleep and deprive you of energy for the next day. This approach was confirmed by a study involving more than 2,000 men over 60 years of age. Those who adhered to the strategy of uniform hydration had the frequency of nighttime symptoms. The feeling of incomplete emptying and frequent urination decreased by almost 41%. Think about it. Just a simple change in drinking habits gave many men a restful sleep, improved their quality of life, and helped protect their prostate. This is the first and most important step, which works best when it becomes part of your daily routine. When we think about taking care of our health, we often imagine complex procedures or expensive drugs. But in fact, sometimes the simplest actions turn out to be incredibly effective. One of these simple but powerful habits is a light walk immediately after a meal, lunch, and dinner. Why is this so important specifically for prostate health? It's all about blood circulation. After eating, our body launches a whole complex of processes. Digestion requires an increased blood flow to the stomach and intestines. If we remain motionless after eating, blood accumulates in the abdomen and pelvis, and this slows down circulation in the pelvic organs, including the prostate. But a light walk stimulates blood flow, improving the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the prostate. This helps to reduce inflammation, strengthen tissues, and maintain the normal functioning of the gland. But that's not all. A walk after a meal helps to control blood sugar levels, and this is critically important. High sugar and diabetes are among the risk factors for the development of an enlarged prostate and complications of urination. A study from the University of São Paulo showed that men over 65 who walked for at least 15 minutes after lunch and dinner had a 35% lower risk of developing serious symptoms of benign prostatic hyperplasia. You do not need to walk fast or far. A light, continuous walk is enough, which can take place at home, in the yard, or on the sidewalk next to the house. This habit seems simple and even unnoticeable in everyday life, but over time it gives an amazing effect, like a quiet protection that works for you every day. When it comes to prostate health, one of the most underestimated and yet powerful habits is regular sexual activity. Despite the fact that this topic is surrounded by many taboos, stereotypes, and misunderstandings, medicine has long proven that maintaining a sexual life is a crucial element of men's health care, especially after 60. Why? Everything is simple and at the same time profound. The prostate is not just a gland that produces part of the seminal fluid. Its ducts need regular cleansing to avoid the accumulation of cellular debris, inflammatory secretions, and toxins. Regular ejaculation, whether in a relationship with a partner or through masturbation, promotes a so-called internal washing of the prostate. Scientific research confirms this not only in words. The largest study from the Harvard School of Public Health, which lasted for more than 20 years and included over 10,000 men, showed amazing results. Those who ejaculated at least 21 times a month had a 33% lower risk of prostate cancer compared to less active men. In addition to the cleansing effect, sexual activity improves blood circulation in the pelvic area, relaxes the muscles around the prostate, and reduces stress levels, a factor that often aggravates inflammation and causes unpleasant sensations. However, many men are embarrassed to talk about this with doctors or loved ones, believing that with age, sexual activity should take a back seat. This is a huge misconception that can cost health and even life. It is important to remember that maintaining a regular sexual life is not a sign of youth or luxury, but a natural and necessary part of caring for oneself, one's body, and one's health. If you have any questions or difficulties, do not postpone a visit to a urologist. Modern medicine offers many solutions that will help maintain quality of life and vigor. By breaking stereotypes and accepting this simple truth, you are taking a powerful step towards the health of your prostate and a full life. We eat every day, and what exactly ends up on our plate determines not only our mood or weight, but also the health of the entire body, including the prostate. Proper nutrition is not only a guarantee of energy and well-being, but also a powerful tool for preventing diseases, including those related to the prostate gland. Scientists have identified several key components that have a direct impact on the condition of the prostate and help reduce inflammation, as well as the risk of developing benign hyperplasia and even cancer. The first of these is lycopene. This natural red pigment is found in foods such as tomatoes, watermelon, and guava. Lycopene has a strong anti-inflammatory effect and is able to accumulate specifically in the prostate tissue, protecting its cells from damage. Studies show that men who regularly consume cooked tomatoes at least twice a week reduce their risk of developing prostate cancer by almost 30%. Interestingly, cooked tomatoes are absorbed better than raw ones. Therefore, tomato sauce, puree, and paste are excellent options. The second important element is zinc. This mineral plays a key role in maintaining hormonal balance and prostate structure. Zinc is abundant in pumpkin seeds, nuts, seafood, and beef. It helps to strengthen the immune system and reduce inflammation, and its deficiency is associated with an increased risk of developing prostate diseases. Another powerful helper is cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. They contain substances called sulforaphanes, which help the body remove toxins, as well as prevent cell mutations, reducing the likelihood of cancer development. The ideal plate for a man who cares about his prostate is a combination of bright vegetables rich in antioxidants and minerals with a good source of lean protein. Such a diet helps not only to reduce inflammation, but also maintains the overall metabolic balance, improving the quality of life and performance. Remember, nutrition is one of the most accessible and effective forms of preventive medicine. Your prostate will be grateful for every right choice on your table. When it comes to prostate health, many people only imagine medicines, procedures, and diets. But there is another, sometimes underestimated, but extremely important component: quality sleep. It is during sleep that processes occur that directly affect the hormonal background and the body's ability to recover. Deep and uninterrupted sleep is not just rest for the mind and body. It is a time when the body produces such important hormones as melatonin and growth hormone. Melatonin is known not only as a regulator of biorhythms, but also as a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. Growth hormone helps to repair tissues and maintain their health, including in the prostate. When sleep becomes superficial or intermittent, these processes are disrupted, the stress level rises, free testosterone, a hormone that plays a key role in men's health, decreases, and at the same time the level of inflammation in the body increases. Scientific data confirm the link between poor sleep and an increased risk of prostate diseases. In one of the major studies published in the journal Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention, more than 2,400 men were observed for almost 10 years. It was found that those who suffered from sleep disorders had a twice as high risk of a malignant form of prostate cancer. The explanation is simple. Without proper rest, the body does not have time to recover, and damaged tissues become vulnerable to inflammatory and degenerative processes. So what should you do? Create ideal conditions for sleep around you: a dark, quiet, and cool room, a regular bedtime and wake-up schedule. Avoid heavy food, caffeine, and bright light from gadgets before bed. All this will help to improve the quality of sleep and, as a result, maintain the health of the prostate. Deep sleep is not a luxury, but a crucial preventive strategy that works for you every day, protecting one of the most important organs of your body. Thousands of men live with symptoms that prevent them from sleeping, working, and enjoying life to the fullest, believing that this is a natural price to pay for age. But this is a myth that it's time to bust. Prostate health is not a sentence, but an area where you can take control into your own hands. The 5 habits we talked about. First, strategic hydration. Proper drinking that reduces inflammation and facilitates urination. Second, a light walk after meals is a simple way to improve blood circulation and maintain prostate health. Third, regular sexual activity, a natural flushing of the prostate and cancer prevention. Fourth, strategic nutrition. Foods that protect and nourish the prostate from the inside. Fifth, deep sleep, the key to hormonal balance and effective body recovery. Each of these habits is simple and accessible, but together they create a powerful system of protection and support that can change the quality of your life. Do not wait until the symptoms become unbearable. Start implementing these habits today for yourself, your loved ones, your freedom and joy of life. If you think this information can help other men, share it. After all, sometimes simple knowledge can save a life. Thank you for taking the time for your health. Remember, taking care of yourself is the first step to a long and happy life.